What's going on, guys? So big shout out first up to RageX for making this comment. I think the dog will do more than Cupidus even with no soul. I'm very interested in how this works because if this works out and the dog is doing more than Cupidus with no soul on either Shayak or the dog versus Cupidus and Venus, who are 5-star souls with +4 on Cupidus and +2 on Venus, it's going to be pretty crazy. Now, the team I'm going to use to test this is going to be Duchess with 9-piece protection, Krisk in a curse set. He brings the provoke and the decreased speed. We have Sun Wukong for block buffs, Lydia for decreased defense, weaken, and increased speed. Now, Lydia is making Venus a little bit redundant because of the decreased defense and weaken, but Sun Wukong kind of makes Shayak redundant because of the block buffs. With that said, the real reason Shayak and Venus are in these teams is just to activate their partner champion. If we were to use it, Cupidus or the dog without their partner champion, it's going to be a significantly different result. I would actually say that Cupidus is much worse than the dog without the partner champion. However, the dog without Shayak is much worse than the dog with Shayak. Now, if we take a look at the builds specifically on Cupidus and Shayak, it's going to be the exact same main pieces of gear, the exact same artifacts. The accessories will be different. I tried to do a build in a way that isn't necessarily making a huge swing for one champion or the other. Cupidus is +4, so he's getting extra crit rate. Obviously, I'm not going to give the dog 90% crit rate. That's a terrible idea. So Cupidus ends up getting a little bit extra. He does have the extra attack mastery, so we don't have the extra crit rate over there. So hopefully it kind of balances things out. Now, Cupidus is going to be looking at about 8,000 attack, 196 speed, 338% crit damage with some accuracy. He also has a 5-star Nature's Wrath, so his damage is going to be scaling up to 15% extra damage, which is quite significant. Now, in case you don't know, when Cupidus is with Venus, whenever he is hit, he's going to counterattack. Always counterattacks when attacked. Also, attacks inflict 25% more damage, but only when Venus is on the same team. We'll just leave all of his skills on for both the champions. So that's Cupidus's breakdown. Kro'khad is going to look like this. You'll actually notice that the damage is going to, the attack, the stats are going to be fairly close. We have 7,500 attack, over crit rate cap a little bit, 270% crit damage, and overall looking pretty good. The accessories I have on him are, of course, worse than Cupidus's. I tried to keep them very similar as far as the attack rolls and not give Cupidus like a really good attack banner or the dog a really good attack banner. So they're fairly close. The speeds are a little bit different, but this is what we got going on. There's no relics on either one of these champions, so I'm hoping it's going to be a pretty decent comparison, specifically for the 5-star soul. Now, of course, I could min-max these builds and give the +4 Cupidus really what matters and get his crit rate down some, but the gear pieces I use to do that would probably mess Kro'khad up. So this is the best that I could think of, but the reason why their attack is so close to each other, even with the +4 and the extra soul difference, is the fact that Cupidus has a 1,500 base attack, whereas Kro'khad has a 1,700 base attack. So this is a massive difference in that base attack right off the bat. Now, as for the stats on everybody else, Duchess is in 9-piece protection, very fast. Krisk is in curse set. Venus is in curse set as well, also very fast. Lydia is in a shield plus some 9-piece protection, kind of irrelevant to be honest. And then Sun Wukong is in a damage dealer set, so that if either of our damage dealers get eaten, Sun Wukong can break them free. All the champions are built very well. They're more than capable of handling Hydra Nightmare difficulty. I wanted to make sure this is not an issue with surviving, and it's just a, hey, how much damage is Kro'khad going to do versus Cupidus? Now, RageX says that he thinks Cupidus is going to do more than the dog, even without a soul. But I want to hear from you guys. And don't change your guess. Don't skip forward in the video and change your guess based on what actually happens. I want to hear from you guys right now. What do you think? Do you think the Kro'khad in this case is going to do more damage? Or do you think the Cupidus is going to do more damage? Me personally, who do I think is going to do more damage? I think I want to say the Cupidus because he's +4 and 5-star blessing. And that's a big boost. But Kro'khad, on the other hand, his A1 ability is getting a double damage whenever Shayak is on the same team. He's scaling his attack by 50% after decapitating heads. He is also having a single target AoE attack. Well, it's AoE damage, but it calculates a single target, which instead of sharing 2% of the damage on hex targets, it's going to share 10% of the damage to hex targets. So in this case specifically, I'm going to have to say Cupidus. But I really want to say Kro'khad. So if I had to submit my vote right now, I think Cupidus is going to outscale him in damage a little bit. Maybe. But wait. Does Shayek's A1 ability make the dog join in the attack? Let's check this real quick. So we'll go to, I forget. Because if it's making him join in the attack, then it's definitely going to be stronger. Attacks one enemy, then teams up. Okay, yeah, okay. There's no question about it. Kro'khad's gonna win. Is he gonna win though? I think he's gonna win. I think Kro'khad still will win in Hydra. Actually, I don't think it's gonna be much of a comparison because of Shayek having the dog join in on the attack as well as the hit. That's even extra damage there. So we have Kro'khad joining in from this A1 ability as well as the passive, which is just crazy. The same thing's going to be happening over in the arena. Kro'khad's going to be joining in when Shayek hits, as well as when Shayek gets hit. That just makes for such crazy amounts of damage. So you can see here Cupidus. Let's see what he does on the heads. Decreased defense plus weaken. I want to see a little bit of damage going out from Cupidus to get like a decent idea of what's happening here. This almost feels pointless at this point, realizing how much Shayek brings to the dog, even with no soul. Cupidus and Venus teams are a very good team for Hydra as well. Very easy full auto. A lot of players actually use them. And there are some members in my clan who use it like on hard difficulty. And I will probably be using the dog on hard difficulty for just a good full auto team. But Cupidus and Venus is a very good team. And if Shayek and the dog are doing more, that's crazy. But awesome too. But if you think about it, Cupidus plus Venus, Cupidus is only joining in when Venus is attacked. Not when she does any attack, not like that. Sorry, when he's attacked. When he's attacked, not when Venus is attacked. So he's hitting for, let's see, we're getting all the weak hits there, unfortunately. The dog is going to be magic affinity. So he will be a little bit different strengths and weaknesses. But let's see how this works out. We could throw in a Mikage in the team potentially, but we should probably be okay. 747,000 right there. I want to see some of his counterattacks though. 747 from the Cupidus. We get 117,000 there. Nothing that crazy. Hopefully he's got his Nature's Wrath scaled up a decent amount at this point. I will just jump out and do a quick battle in a moment. But at 4 minutes in, we're doing 28 million damage. Yeah, I think Kro'khad's definitely doing a lot more. 148,000 on a non-decreased defense and weakened head. But now we have 2 heads up there. Head of Mischief being one of them with decreased defense and weaken. We're not changing any presets. Okay, 650,000, 500,000, 800, 400, a million. Okay, so we got some good damage going. We'll go ahead and end this battle. Got to make sure to not save any of these keys though. But Venus put up 24 million damage in this little short 4-minute fight. Let's do a free regroup and we'll do a quick battle. Okay, quick battle time. And then let me open up a notepad down here and see what we can going on. All right, so the quick battle is over and we did, wait, no, that's not right. 200 million damage? No, we need to actually make them survive the entire time. And they definitely did not go the entire way, did they? Let's try this again. So quick battle, 6, 7, 8. No, it's a little bit short. 194 million damage there. All right, guys, so obviously you can see my quick battles have gone down quite a bit. I tried a few, and for some reason the team's not making it all the way. I think it's because it's not quite enough damage. I'm going to try one more here and hopefully make it at least a turn 800 or so. But this is what's happening here. 92 million damage from Cupidus. We'll save that. I think the most I've seen is like 130 million. So let's now discard this result. We're going to throw in Shayek and the dog now. I went ahead and put Shayek into some Stone Skin because maybe we jump into some PvP and give him a shot over there. Now Kro'khad, he's going to take the exact same gear that the Cupidus was just now wearing. We'll jump into a little bit of a short fight and then we'll give him a shot as well. So Cupidus gear, move it over. You already saw Cupidus stats earlier on. let's go for a little bit of a slow fight. This is Nightmare Hydra. Let's see how things play out. There's no presets on anybody here, which should be okay, hopefully. Shayek doesn't bring as much as Venus. Venus definitely brings more than Shayek, except for when it comes to the damage. Shayek's making Kro'khad join in the attacks is going to boost the damage quite a bit. Now, we could add in the damage from the Hex that the damage Krisk dealt, because it's mostly from Cupidus, but ultimately, Kro'khad's damage is not going to show the Hex stuff as well, so we're just going to worry about the damage that was being dealt as a whole, but most importantly from the individual champion. The Hex damage will likely be in favor of Kro'khad anyways, though. But he's got so much more joining in already, and he's not even decapitated any heads. Now, his damage is not as high as Cupidus so far, but he's joining in a lot at the moment. Joining in from Shayek, as well as just when Shayek's hit. When he's hit, it doesn't matter, though. All right, so A1 from Shayek. Got Kro'khad to join in. Now, maybe I was too high on the dog. Maybe the dog's not actually going to do as much as I was thinking. Got the head on the far right down, so it's the first decapitated head. Once we decapitate, I think 5, then we'll be at our full 50% attack scaling. 250,000 damage there. 276. Resetting some skills. We really need the dog to take some more turns. Of course, an actual optimal build will be a bit different than we currently have him in, because an actual optimized build will have him, 220, 250 speed, much faster. But here, just a test to see Cupidus versus the dog. Double hits doing some pretty good damage. A1 there. A1 from the attacks and A1 from being attacked also. That's quite a bit. He's getting kind of low on HP. The highest crit damage being Wukong may actually be fine. A1, so we're at 18 million and 18 turns. I think with Cupidus, we were already... Oh, dang, that's some huge hits there. All right, so let's go ahead and back out of this. Let's actually end battle. We're at 2 minutes. Kro'khad did 15 million. Man, it's not even going to be comparable. Let's see. Okay, 306 million on that first quick battle attempt. All right, guys, yeah, it's not even a comparison. We didn't go all the way with this team either, and Kro'khad just completely blew Venus Cupidus out of the water. Not even fully optimized, like not even full speeds, no blessings whatsoever, and just picked up 200 million damage just from Kro'khad alone. I mean, this was Cupidus' damage here, and the other was Kro'khad. So, I mean, it's not even a question, guys. Who's going to be the best combo, Venus Cupidus or Kro'khad plus Shayek? Without a doubt, Kro'khad plus Shayek. All right, guys, so I wanted to go ahead, since Cupidus was blown out of the water by Kro'khad, I wanted to actually give Cupidus a bit better gear. Since he is +4, I was like, you know what? Maybe I did him too much of a disservice in taking his gear, making it equal to Kro'khad. So let's give him a little bit of a better chance here. So I need to drop his crit rate down quite a bit. We're going to go priority stats, crit damage, and attack here. We don't really need a bunch of crit rate. We're going to go crit damage gloves. Hopefully I have something here that can be pretty good for him. Here we go. So now he's looking at 360% crit damage. We're looking at, call it 9,000 attack. We're going to swap this over. Now he's looking a lot better than before. So we'll do one quick battle on Hydra, Nightmare, of course, with Cupidus and Venus again. Because I feel like now I shorted him. I'm like, dang, I need to get this Venus and Cupidus combo showing actually correctly. Make the +4 actually shine and come through. Because at this point, it just feels like, wow, that is just, where would you use them? Other than Faction Wars, there's nowhere where this combo at the moment would be better than the Kro'khad Shayek combo. His accuracy is plenty, so we'll go number 1 there, and then we'll go number 2 there. Give him presets and everything. One more quick battle. Let's see what happens, guys. Okay, yes, 72 million. It failed early, but still only 72 million. So even with Cupidus having crazy gear, he's still not quite hitting as hard as Kro'khad was. Now, with that said, let's see if I was to throw him into Hydra a little bit. I'll fast forward this like a few minutes into the fight, see what his damage is doing on the Hydra heads once they're decapitated. We saw a little bit what Kro'khad was doing. Let's see a little bit with what Cupidus is doing. Guys, here we go. We're like 4 minutes into the fight. Cupidus was down for a little while there, but you can already see the turn count based on the damage is way out of skew. But also, let's see what Cupidus actually does to these heads once they're decapitated. Because, of course, he's going to do more damage than before because he's built pretty crazy now. But he still hit for 600,000 when Kro'khad was hitting for, I believe, quite a bit more than that, actually. We want to get some decreased defense and weaken on these heads so we can actually see the damage where it's supposed to be. 213,000 across the board. 304,000 on the counterattacks there. No decreased defense or weaken. Now we have it up, which is good. Now we see a counterattack here. 450. Yeah, guys. I mean, to be honest, Cupidus and Venus was a thing of a few years ago. 2.3 million, which is good. But remember, Kro'khad was hitting for more than that with no soul and no empowerments whatsoever. So the damage difference is not even comparable. If you were a player years ago wanting to have Venus and Cupidus for the arena, you have it. You have Tshirt plus Kro'khad and Hydra, top tier, and obviously much better than Venus and Cupidus. Other than Faction Wars, I just don't see a situation where these two are going to be better than Kro'khad and Tshirt, considering Kro'khad has 0 blessings, no relics, which would be pretty even as far as the difference there. They would both scale up more damage, but no blessing whatsoever on Kro'khad, just simply better. So I will be building my most likely hard Hydra team with Kro'khad and Tshirt, even though I have no blessing on him right now, and I honestly don't plan to get the blessing. The blessing will make him do more damage without a doubt, but it's too expensive. Either way, guys, best of luck. Thank you all very much for watching. Let me know if this was interesting to you, and I'll catch you all in the next one.